Hello, this is Iron Bill. I'm back with another video. Today we are looking at legendary lost sectors. I'm doing the 1250 Perdition, and I've done it already with my Warlock. I produced a video on that. I may or may not show that later. This one's going to be on the Hunter, and I wanted to get down to the loadout for this, and there are plenty of other great content creators who have done this before. So this is nothing new. You know, I'm not inventing fire, as I like to say. But what I am doing is showing that a very, very average or even below average player like myself can do this if you're spec'd out right. So I'd like to share my loadout with you. Now, I'm running, of course, Stasis, so I'm Hunter Revenant. What I'm going for is the Mask of Bacchus. It's the exotic helmet that comes from this lost sector. And that's the one that allows you to replace your dodge with a teleport that then when you come out of it buffs your arc damage. And so if you look at what I'm running here, I'm running the No Time to Explain. I'm running the Ikelos SMG. I'm running the Falling Guillotine. And I'm running anti-barrier for both of these. Now, I'm not running overload because what I'm doing on the Cloak is I'm running Surge Eater and Thermal Overload. Now, if you don't know what those do, Thermal Overload, I believe, will disrupt champions or combatants. Whatever you toss it at, it will be disrupted. And if you're running Solar or Stasis, and then the Surge Eater then will give it back to you if you disrupt a champion. So essentially, there's perfect synergy here. I can toss my grenade at a champion, stun it, immediately get my grenade back, and I can do burst damage on it, or I can bring a primary or an elemental weapon in and work it down. So if you're trying to move fast, the trick is isolate the champion, stun it, hit it with your sword, knock it down, and you're good to go for the next champion. But the trick is to isolate the big enemies. Don't try to go toe-to-toe with them. Now, on the chest piece, I'm running Concussive Dampener and Void Resistance. So you have to have a Void chest piece for that one. Other than that, there's really not much to explain on this, so I guess let's just go ahead and run it. I would point out that it's important to have all of this set up before you go, because your equipment locks if you don't know that. Oh, and behind me, you notice that I have my green screen worked out. This was a gift from my daughter for my birthday. It is my birthday today. Got the chroma key set up, works perfectly. I'll tell you what, it cracks me up. My kids laugh at me for being a content creator. I mean, I'm you know, just south of 60, and yeah. Who cares, all right? They got me stuff I wanted. I'm interested in it. I don't care. I win. So they can laugh all they want. I don't really care. So this is why the arc damage. The little harpies here are all arc shielded, and it can slow you down. And you are time limited on this legendary lost sector. So being able to take down the trash mobs quickly is what you want to do. Now I wanted to get a few of them down before I moved up here because it's going to spawn more enemies. And sometimes you can get up there and you can kill that Hydra very, very quickly with a sword. And I've done it both ways, but I'm going to take this Minotaur down, sit behind the barrier and just wait, and just one heavy swing, and that's all it takes. Bust these guys down, get them under control, and yeah. Now, if you don't run Concussive Dampener or Void Resistance, that's a much tougher room because it doesn't take very many hits, like 2 or 3 of them right there and you'd be dead. Even at 1267, I think, which is where I'm running this, 1267, 1266 possibly. Alright, so he's gone. Now if I move up again, Morad spawn. Oh, there he is. Sorry, thought he was gone. By the way, by having the anti-barrier rounds on, I'm able to fire right through his shield with the No Time to Explain, and that works out pretty well. Now, the champion has spawned in, and he is going to charge. So I'm going to back up so that the Harpies don't interfere with this at all. Once I figure out which side he's going on, Duskfield Grenade, and I would go Duskfield. You can go with the Ice Wall or whatever, but there's a fairly good chance you'll miss if you do. Duskfield, they'll walk right into it because they don't stop no matter what. I could possibly charge these guys with the sword, but I don't want to waste the ammo. I'm only at 47 rounds right now, max of 55 on this particular sword, and you're going to need heavy to finish off the boss. Alright, so what I'm doing with the switch up here, though, between the Ikelos and the No Time to Explain, is I'm conserving SMG ammo, because I'll need it, ultimately. Because if, for some reason, I lose my grenade, these are barrier champions coming up, and I can fall back on stunning the enemies with while they try to heal with my SMG. I better be close because I've got to get there fast enough to really take him down. Here he comes. Here's the stun. Optimally, what you'd want to do is you'd want to be full health when he came around that corner, because he's probably going to get a shot on you. And if you're low health, he can kill you just as he rounds the corner, which is a bad deal. Alright, so I need to take the Hydra down again. And once again, by having the Concussive Dampener and the Void Resistance, I'm able to tank those shots so long as they're not direct hits, and take them down. Now, by moving up a little bit, I've spawned the next wave. And by the way, this is by far the hardest room. You get through this one okay, you've got it made. Alright, so he's going to come around that corner. Heavy swing, and that's it for him. And he didn't even take any health. They're not as dangerous as the champions, obviously, but they are dangerous, and you can't take for granted that you can tank the shots, because I've had him kill me with 1 or 2 shots too. Alright, so I'm going to move up again. This is going to spawn the wyverns. Now I could rush in here, which I do. I see the opportunity to take him out before everything else spawns in. And to me, that made sense, because then, after I clear out the wyverns, I really only have to worry about the one barrier champion. And if they get up there on top and they get together, it can be a real pain. So if you see an opening like that, it's worth it, because I'm sitting on 6 revives right now. Every champion I kill gives me another revive. So, you know, I could burn a couple in order to save time. Now what I'm doing here is I'm drawing him down the hallway so I can minimize my health while I take down his health. If I get him below half and can get close to him, I can sword him without too many sword swings. But see, I'm sitting at 29. And I'm afraid to use up too much of it, so I'm really trying to get this down. I'm trading time for sword swings, essentially. Now sometimes heavy drops like crazy, and this is not an issue, but for me this time it was, and I thought, okay, I'm going to have to conserve that a little bit. He's going to come up here, and 3 swings, and it's done. Really only 2, but it's hard to stop that 3rd swing. I need to take down ads. Get him to come over to me. And again, once he's cleared, this is pretty much a done deal. One of the problems I've been having with these legendary lost sectors, after I figured out how to spec out for them, was I kept getting kicked to orbit, anteater errors. And that's very frustrating, because, you know, if you're going for the exotics and you're having a good run and you just get kicked because, it's kind of a bad deal. Alright, so he was easy enough to take down. I'm now at 23 swords left. I just want to pull down the extra ads here, keep them out of the mix, put a little damage on him. See, that's where I could come in with the submachine gun and stun him, but I don't need to. I'm just going to... That dusk field was just enough to catch him. I was lucky there, and that would have been an easy miss. And there's the shield. I could have come back with the submachine gun, which I think I should have done right there. It would have been faster to take these 2 down. At that range, I shouldn't be using the pulse rifle. Plus, yeah, and by the way, I made a big mistake right there. Because I ran through the poison pool, my health is too low to take on the boss. So I didn't go to him. Plus, I wasn't quite sure if 16 rounds would be enough, and I didn't want to take the chance. So I thought, nope, I'm going to back up here. Just take an extra minute to do it. I would have been under 7 minutes there. And by the way, you don't have to kill the ads. All you have to do is kill the boss and you get your chest. Wish that war cell had been on top. It would have been a lot better for me. I'm going to grab a little ammo here because I'm probably going to need it. and go back up and try to peel down some ads. Once I peel down some ads, then I'll have the ability to get to the boss. See, I still have my super, and I haven't used that yet, so I see some heavy and a Warmind cell. Now, if I'd been a little bit more patient, this would have worked out for me, but I wasn't patient. I was trying to do this for time. My damage is pretty severe by this point in time. He hits me with a shot on the way in. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. One stomp's all it takes when you're that low, but he's standing in my super, and that's all for him. And so he's done. Now, I could just run straight through there and get the chest, but I decided to go ahead and knock the ads down just for good measure. It's a good combination of Ikelos for the Harpies and no time to explain for the Hobgoblins, which it does a really good job of taking them down. You see, I still have 6 revives. I had 7. Well, I would have had 7 if I hadn't died to the boss. There's, by the way, my... yeah, this guy slides in on me. I just lost track of him. I got so focused on the right side there in the Warmind cell, I thought, man, I'm going to get that and end this. And anyway, impatient. But the whole point on the revives is it didn't matter. I could play fast and loose at this point because there was nothing that was going to stop this completion at this point in time. I'm under 9 minutes at this point. Darkness is not encroaching yet. Plenty of time. I think you have maybe 15 minutes on this one, 12 to 15 minutes. It's not a hard thing to do, and I got the Mask of Bacchus, so I was super happy about that. This went about as well as it could have gone. Outside of a mistake or two, yeah, pretty good run. So if you're interested in this legendary lost sector and a guy like me can do it, you can do it too. Just go with the loadout that I showed you. Basically, you can do parallel loadouts on all 3 of your subclasses. If you choose Warlock, Titan, they can do pretty much the same thing because the Bond and the Sash can all do the Surge Eater and Thermal Overload. You can get that, and you can pull up a Void chest, and you can get the Concussive Dampener and the Void Resistance, and really bring the weapons over, and you're good to go. I mean, that's all it takes. So with all that said, that's probably long enough, and I want to thank you for watching. This is Iron Bill, and I'm signing out.